palm reading of a male whose age is 36 years old. When we look at any particular hand, we try to find out if there's something rare about that particular hand or not. So in this particular case, what I find very rare indication, that is on the headline. So this is the headline that we are referring to. This could be another headline out here, and there's another headline that is kind of moving something like in this particular direction. So what makes it very different is that in general, normally people do have simple kind of a line. This is a simple kind of a line. Now, in this particular case, what we find is that the line is not so simple in the initial period portion of one's life. This is the initial portion of one's life till the age of 35. And after, probably from the age of 33 or so, this is a more predictable kind of a line that we see. Now, we cannot say that a different formation of the headline would be considered to be a better sign, or it is going to be considered to be a negative sign. We can't say positive or negative. I would just explain to you what the meaning of these particular lines are. You should also not think in these terms that you need to have very, very different kind of lines in order to be more successful, and very common kind of lines are found in normal kind of people. It is not like that. Even a simple looking headline can be in the hand of a successful person, and it can be the opposite could also be true for a complicated kind of a line. So the first thing you need to understand, what is basically the headline. Headline, in general, people think that headline is the line of intelligence. That is basically untrue. Totally, it is untrue. Headline is the line of your thought process. It is the line of mental stability and instability, and the portion of life when things could be unstable and when things can be much more predictable. It is also better to be a more of a predictable kind of a personality instead of being a unpredictable kind of a personality, because in general, if a person is trying to associate with another person, they would want that person to be very, very predictable kind, not an unpredictable kind of a person. Now, the headline, you'd see that there are two headlines out here. This is one headline, and probably the reason why I'm saying probably is because you can't be very certain, because some lines may appear to be something else and we are assuming them to be the headline. So that's the reason why I'm saying assumption is there. Now, the thing is, when a person does have these two headlines basically means that the mental thought process is basically running on two different paths, and two headlines could bring much more mental strength to that particular person. But at the same time, when these people try to associate with the other people, then what's going to happen is that they may not say ask they may not like say that like they may not accept no as an answer, and there could be some volatility also there associated with having two headlines. So imagine a person has got a one headline, and that person is associating with a person who has got two headlines. So two headlines person would have much more mental strength, and they would never want their mind, because this is the line of mind, they would never want their mind to basically lose against the other person's mind. So this is what basically it means. And but at the same time, when the line becomes one single line, this is when it becomes much one single line. That's when the person basically feels much more better, much more at ease with themselves, and much more predictability can be seen in those persons basically hand. I would just try to time I would try to basically mark the timings on the headline. This is the line of head. This is the line of money. This is the line of heart. So the intersection of the mind and the headline is age 35. The heart and the money line is age 53. This is age 53 on the money line. This is on the money line we are talking about. Then we talk about on the headline, this portion of the headline is before the age of 35 and this portion is after the age of 35. So we would just talk about the headline first. So in the portion before the age of 35, things are different, and after the age of 35, things become much more different. So the good aspect about the portion the before the age of 35 is that the headline is kind of having branches something like these. This is not normal. And they're joining the main headline. Then this is the main headline, and few branches are leaning upward, pointing towards the mount of Mercury. So these inward motion of lines joining the line of head, these are considered to be negative. The reason why they are considered to be negative is because this is the line, this is the area of Mars negative area. Mars negative, this is just a name. Mars negative area is the area of anger, aggression, and fire. So from the area of fire, if few lines are kind of joining into the headline, it means anger entering your mind. And when anger enters your mind, the chances of taking wrong decisions increases. So this is before the age of, let's say, 2025. This is before the age of 2025. Then there are few lines that kind of lean upward. These branches that I had referred to, this is the line, and these are upward branches pointing towards the mount of Mercury. So these are considered to be good because Mercury is the area of intelligence, calculations, and communication. Imagine you're standing and the tips of the finger is your head and the sky, and the lower portion is the portion of the earth and the gravity. I'm just explaining to you. So if the headline is moving upward, it means it is moving towards the sky. That means against the gravity. And this is all happening before the age of 35, probably before the age of 32 or so. These things are happening. If we go by the palmistry books, these upward motion of the headline as referred in the books, basically it indicate to writing skill, something to do with writing, like being an author or something like this. But in my case, my interpretation could be a little bit different. I would say that probably the person can be an author, but may not necessarily be an author. It could just mean mental upliftment. This is the first part. And upward motion of the line means some jubilation, some success happening in one's life. So these are considered to be positive portions where these lines basically point towards the mount of Mercury. And as it is, Mercury is for intelligence. And if the headline moves towards the area of intelligence, the area of maths, statistics, economics, biology, chemistry, everything, it is considered to be a good sign. It could mean upgradation of your knowledge as well during that particular portion of your life. Now, the thing is that the break on the line of head is considered to be a major thing. Now, the thing is, the reason why we say it is major, and it is all happening before the age of 35. The thing is that when there is a break, it means mental breakdown. And specifically when the break is happening below the Saturn, this is the area of mount of Saturn. This is happening, there's a break happening on the headline below the age, below the Saturn area on the headline. So Saturn is the area for depression. Depression, it is also the area for sadness, mental isolation. All these kind of things are basically referred to regarding the Saturn part. Although Saturn has got good qualities as well as bad qualities, but in general, when we find that there's a breakout here, it is considered to be a negative sign. There's a very if you will take a look at the hand of Narendra Modi, our Indian Prime Minister, even he has got somewhat similar kind of line. Now, don't think that if you have got similar lines, we become somewhat similar. I'm just giving you for something for reference sake. That's the only thing, and basically I'm pointing out here. So the thing is, when few bad things happen during these particular years of your life, some people, their whole life may go disarray, and they may not be able to manage their life. But if the lines basically are good after this break as well, then things are that everything comes back on the track. Everything basically comes back on the track. And these lines that we this headline that we see out here, this is a perfect kind of a line. And this particular upward motion line is even much better. Upward motion of the line is always better because it is moving against the gravity. Because as we are growing older, what happens is we basically get tired in the head, tired in our thought process. We lose hope. All these things basically happen. But the out here, the opposite is basically happening. So in that way, it is a beautiful sign to have. And success can also be seen. See, generally when people are showing their hand, they are generally wanting to know about success. And success can be seen on any hand. It is not necessarily only one line we have to see. General impression is people want to know, oh, I want to know about my money line. I want to know about the sun line, the name and fame line. But at the same time, I would say that every line can talk about success or failure. So when I find the headline to be perfect out here, the chances become much more brighter as the person is growing older, and we already know the person is somewhere around the age of 36 or so. So things might have been looking much better. Sometimes this break on the headline and specifically under the Saturn area could also be referred to stomach related issues. Now, the reason why we say stomach related issues is because when we get depressed, somehow it's going to affect our gut, our stomach, more basically acidic, and all these kind of things basically happen. Or sometimes it can be the reverse. It can be our stomach may affect our mind. So it can be both ways. So better headline could mean that those problems that the person may be affected with may not now necessarily get applied in this particular person's case after the age of 35 or so. Now, I will let us basically look at the heart line also. I give huge importance to the heart line. This is the heart line. It's always better to have a very simplistic kind of a line, but out here we find that there are few island-like formation. This is island-like formation. The line is a little bit unclear. It's not a simple kind of a line. A simple line looks something like a simple, straight, simple kind of a line. It may have a curvature or something like this. That's okay, but it shouldn't have branches over it. It shouldn't have branches leaning downwards or island over it. All of them are considered to be a negative sign to have. Now, islands on the headline could mean emotional isolation. Sometimes it could relate to eye-related issues or heart-related issues, or palpitation or stress or anxiety. It could mean distractions also. These branches could mean distractions, falling for temptation. So those are basically all negative signs to have. The person could have few anxiety prone. The person may not be able to commit themselves completely to one thing and one thing only. So this is the left hand. I'm also looking at the left hand also. See, in the left and right hand, the thing is that we should refer both the hands to arrive at the conclusion. Even this hand is not perfect. The heart line is not perfect. Island-like formation is not basically a perfect kind of a line. So that's the reason why I consider it to be somewhat of a negative sign. See, stress and anxiety does play a part in our life. And if we create stress around ourselves, or stress basically is taking a toll on you, so somehow you have to de-stress yourself. You have to basically learn the real meaning of detachment. Detachment does not mean going far away from your family, friends, leaving everything and going far away. It's not that. Detachment is being in a moment without having expectation of the outcome. That's what basically it means. So that's what basically we should try to incorporate in our life and try to lead a healthy lifestyle. If you lead a healthy lifestyle, probably these stress and anxiety may not affect you at all. Now let's come to the good, a few good lines that I noticed on both the left and the right hand. Now, this is the line that we are referring to. It may not be very, very deep and clear, but yet it is there. So these two lines that we see out here, I would just take a look at the left hand also. There's this particular line. This is starting on the mount of Jupiter, and it is kind of joining either the headline or it's joining the lifeline. So this is the lifeline, this is the headline, and a line one line or two line or three line, whatever. If they kind of originate on the mount of Jupiter and join the headline or the lifeline, it could mean our life is getting guided by Jupiter, or our mind is getting guided by Jupiter. If the line joins the headline, it means our mind getting guided by Jupiter. Guided by Jupiter. If it joins the lifeline, it means our life getting guided by Jupiter. Both these things are positive because Jupiter, as you must have read in geography, Jupiter is a big planet. What does big mean? Big basically means growth, expansion, honor, respect in your life. Be reaching to a honorable position, seeking a honorable position, wanting to be in a honorable high position. So people who basically desire all these things, basically they get all these things in their life. So the more the deep the line, the more the effect. If the line lacks in intensity, probably the person does desire, but may not be working so much as the person should be basically working for a high position of honor. Probably there also appears to be a star-like formation out here. Star on the mount of Jupiter also takes a person to a higher position in one side. See, these lines, don't think that star will be considered to be better compared to this particular line. It may look and appear to be simple, but it is of great significance. And not many people, they may have this kind of a line. And people who have these kind of line, if they get seated on a particular position, to remove them from that particular position becomes difficult and impossible. So they somehow are always at a commanding position. Now, these lines that we find out here, they may appear to be joining the lifeline, let's say around the age of 25, 26, 27 or so. So this is the early portion of your life. But the impact of these lines remain throughout one's life and not necessarily for 1, 2, 3, or 4 years. So in that way, basically, it is a beautiful sign. Even a simple line is considered to be a good sign. The other aspect is that I don't find the lifeline, at least this particular portion, to be very neat and clean. A simple, neat and clean lifeline would always mean better health compared to a complicated kind of a lifeline. So you notice these island-like formation. These are basically kind of negative lines. I would say that health does play a major role in our life, and if our lifeline is not perfect, all these things are not perfect in the initial portion of your life. But as you grow older, probably things would become much better. So after this particular point, things basically become much better in your life. So at least this portion could be probably 45, 46, 47 or so. Till that portion, I don't find the line to be perfect. But sometimes when the lifeline is not perfect and a person does have got two headlines, so probably their mind basically plays a great support, and basically it uplifts our whole life, because the mind would not basically let us fall down. So this is what basically it could mean. This outward motion of the line moving outward from the main lifeline is considered to be negative, pointing towards the mount of moon. It could mean restlessness creeping in this particular person around the age of 60 or so. And the desire for travel basically may increase, and the perception of the life may change during that particular portion of one's life. Moon is a planet that changes phases on a daily basis, so it could mean some changeability, a desire for changeability, desire for desire for travel, or something to do with issues of health issues related to below the stomach area, something to do with the water area in the portion of our body. So that we have to be a little bit careful with. Now we look at the sun line. Now the sun line is the name and fame line, and the sun line appears to form before the age of 35, also around the age of 31 or so, 33 or so. Then basically the line restarts and it kind of ends out here around the age of 43. Then beyond the age of 43, the line becomes super good. Simple lines are the best possible lines. And as it crosses the heart line, the age is 53. So the best part basically comes after around the age of 43 or so. This is what we see on the sun line. Sun line is also known as the career line. Sun line is known as the name and fame line. I normally try to give an explanation to the sun line. See, when the sun line is not so deep and clear, it is a mark that the chances are there would be doubts and self-doubt. When the path is unclear, the path they want to travel on is unclear. When the line becomes much more deeper and clearer, it means our path that we want to travel on becomes much more clear. We see our path very clearly. So if we normally see people, the reason why people are not successful, because their path is not clear. And once their path is clear, everything falls in place. This is what the sun line means. And automatically, because the line becomes much better after the age of 43 or so, people may say, other palmists may say that you are going to be much more successful after the age of 43. The reason being, because of much more clarity that you have, that's the reason why you would be more successful, and you would have name and fame, all these kind of things. These are basically the outcome of the clarity that you're having in your life. Now, apart from one line, there's one or two more lines also there. So the person could be known in not one field, but multiple fields, 2 or 3 fields of areas that the person would be known in. As far as the money line goes, money line is basically, let's basically take a look at the money line. The money line basically starts at a very early age. Probably it ends out here, it restarts out here. There's a branch originating on the Mount of Moon, joining the line, then it breaks again. And this is breaking, if this point is age 35, so this point is approximately going to be 28 or 29. Another line is kind of again originating on the Mount of Moon and joining, becoming major out here. Then again there's a break, probably these breaks are there, then these are branches down, something like this. Then the line touches somewhere till here, there. This is age 35. So when there are breaks on the line of money, there could be few problems that the person may suffer due to these breaks in the line of money. It could be job loss, work loss, business loss. It could be major changes that they are there. It could be in one's personal life, or it could also be in one's professional life as well. Or both can get affected due to these breaks in the line of money. See, money line, these branches that we are referring to, they are kind of leaning outwards, and they're much more nearer to the Mount of Mars. So money line moving a little bit nearer to the Mount of Mars is considered to be negative, because, and this age is approximately, this point age when these things are happening, this age could be approximately 31 to 33 or so. Money could be lost, or money could be, there could be few problems in the money aspect. And because we also find problems on the headline also, so probably the age is somewhat similar. Money line originating on the Mount of Moon could bring benefits to a person who, if they stay far away from their birthplace, they are, and they do get benefits from females. It could be mother, it could be wife, it could be daughter, it could be, those things could bring benefit to such a person. It could be unknown people also, and in foreigners, male and female both could be of help. Money line originating on the Mount of Moon could also mean benefits coming to this particular person from trading activity or service industry, and anything to do with public appreciation as well. Then the line kind of breaks again, and there are few changes that are happening around the age of 34 or so. Then this line is much more stable. It moves forward. There's another line kind of moving from inside the lifeline, and it does have a break in the initial period, 33 or so, and it restarts and is running parallel to the main money line. It ends at the age of 40 to 43. Then it restarts and basically it continues till the age of 53. So there could be some few parallel incomes that the person may have. The money line kind of originating, pointing from inside the lifeline, could have to do with benefits that the person may get from families. I'm not very sure if this is the line. It is moving something like this. If it is something like this, then it's okay. This is what it would mean, like benefits coming to this particular person from family members or something like this. But this line could be a branch leaning something like this. Could also be. It may not be this kind of a line. It could be just purely and purely this kind of a formation. So this kind of a formation, when we have a person has this kind of a formation, it is from their own efforts, the person may have multiple sources of income. After the age of 35, you would find one line, two line, three line. So multiple sources of income can be expected after the age of 35 till the age of 53. Above the heartline is after the age of 53, and you would find this kind of a formation, V kind of a formation. Now, when we say V, the first one word that is going to come to your mind is V is for victory. No, the thing is that we are not looking for English letter words on your palm. V is considered to be good because it's something like energy is penetrating the fingers, light is penetrating the fingers, the current is penetrating the fingers and entering your life, and it enters your palm, these energy or light or whatever you may refer to, and they kind of get accumulated in this V kind of a formation. It is kind of a net kind of a formation. So this portion of life basically becomes a very significant portion of one's life, and this is around the age of, let's say, 58, 59. That's the approximate age that I would say that it's going to be somewhere at that particular age. Things could even become much better. Now, the thing is that if we are just comparing the left and the right hand, Mercury mount is a very, very important mount to refer to. Mercury is the area for skill, calculation, and communication. I did see a few good aspects on the Jupiter and other aspects, but as far as Mercury goes, in the left hand, it's still better, these perpendicular lines. There are few crossing over of lines. See, crossing over of lines are not considered to be good. Confusion. It creates confusion, and miscalculation and miscommunication may come in one's life. But still, I would say that it's reasonably okay to have these kind of lines. The lines should not be cut to each other, and they are, apart from these particular lines, these lines are also called the Mercury lines. Some people, books basically of palmistry may refer them to as the health line, liver line, and the Mercury line. Now, all of them are basically one and the same thing. It's better to have one simple line instead of too many lines. Having too many lines basically would mean that the person is overworking their mind. They are trying to master too many set of skills. So you can't master too many set of skills. And even if you do, then you have to basically bring your mind to rest. If you don't bring your mind to rest, what's going to happen is more bile is going to get secreted, and indigestion basically be there in your life. So that's the reason why we have to declutter our mind. We have to rest our mind. If we rest our mind, things can become much, much better. There appears to be a small triangle-like formation on the lifeline, but this is a very, very initial portion of the line. Triangle on the lifeline could mean property, but this is a very, very early portion, early 20s or so. So I don't know, and normally people don't have property at that particular age, but because I saw, that's the reason why I'm just pointing it out. And square-like formations can be seen on the money line. So squares basically could mean property, building property, buying property, or whatever, something like this could, it could mean. I'm not very sure about the Mercury mount out here, so there's a little bit of a confusion. Uh, it could bring about miscalculation and miscommunication and overworking of the mind. And when we overwork our mind, uh, somehow we ignore the important aspects and we give more importance to the unnecessary aspects of the work. So that's what it could muddle our mind. If the lines are perpendicular, I would ask you to resend the images of your hand just of this particular portion. Then I would relook into it and then give my opinion again. Now the thing is that the heart line is good in one aspect, that it is not a long heart line. It is not long. It is not reaching till here. So that's a good aspect. If it was reaching out here, it would mean idealism, sensitivity, getting hurt very easily. When it just ends on the Mount of Saturn, it means that the person is realistic, grounded, knows the ground situations very well. So this is a very, very good aspect. Most businessmen, they would have this kind of a line formation ending on the heart line, ending on the Mount of Saturn, brings much more responsibility, valuing money, respecting money. So all these things basically is considered to be better for making more money in your life. See, even your heartline can tell about the money aspect by looking at where it ends. So heartline ending on the Mount of Saturn means heart is targeting towards Saturn, and it is getting the qualities of Saturn. So it is all, Saturn is all about money, possessions, wealth, wisdom, responsibility. So the person could be making wise decisions. The person, wisdom and intelligence is different. See, this is the area for intelligence, and this is the area for wisdom. These words may appear to be very similar, but they are very, very different from each other. So, so that's the reason why I would say that our heart line does play a major role. So don't ignore that it is of less importance, the heart line. It's a major thing. I would end my video out here. I would thank you for watching this video. And if you still have further questions, do get back to me. I would be happy to answer you. Before I end the video, one or two lines I would just point out. These horizontal lines that you see out here, these are a little bit negative. This is the in the earlier portion and maybe even the later portion of your life. So what these lines basically are indicating is that you are traveling in a car. Let's imagine you are traveling in a car. This is the car that you are traveling in. And lines that move something like this is cycle, scooter, bus, truck, depending upon the strength of the line, it would mean that. And they're kind of toppling your car. So these are lines of oppositions. These lines basically mean this is the area for fire. Mars is the area for fire. Mars is a red planet. Red means anger, aggression, and fire. So a fire may be misguided, mistargeting, and that is a flaw. So try to reduce anger, aggression, remove the and try to target your fire to your goal. That is much more important. Try to remain committed because heartline is not perfect. So a perfect heartline brings much more strength to one's life. And I would just look at the Venus area. Venus area appears to be well padded, not hugely padded, but reasonably well padded. It means reasonably high energy levels are there. And in the left hand also, it's reasonably okay kind of padded. So more the padding, more the desires. So it's a medium level kind of a padding. It is there. So medium kind of level of energies are likely to be there in this particular person's life. The outward motion of this is the lifeline. There's outward motion that we had seen in the right hand also. It is also we can see it also in the left hand as well. So similarities can be seen. Sometimes this line could also mean staying far away from your birthplace or family as well. And so there are multiple meanings attached to branches that are leaning outward from the lifeline. I end my video out here, and thanks for watching. Bye and take care.